So the day after my LGV Class 2 practical examination, my driving test, and did I pass? Yes, I did. So a big shout out, big thank you there to the guys and girls at Chevron down in Baghilt in North Wales for preparing me for this. I'll give you a quick description of what the test entailed. I had the first test in the morning, so I was up bright and early at 5 a.m. Left the house at 6 a.m. Had an hour's drive over to Flint. Stopped, picked up coffee on the way, and met Phil down there, my instructor for the last week. So we once over on the wagon, daily checks, went over that again. He was setting out the cones when I turned up, so we had a practice at the reversing drill, and I don't seem to have much trouble reversing. Better going backwards than forwards, to be honest. Make of that what you will. So yeah, we did a couple of reverses. Every reverse I've done, I've hit first time every time, so I'm not worried about that. And then we went on a drive for an hour around the local area. I'd requested that we do the middle of Holywell, which is a nasty little angle with a blind side traffic from the left. So you have to take up all the road and a bit and a good look round to manage to see up the road to the left to get out of there. Straight onto a zebra crossing, no, a pelican crossing. So yeah, you've got a blind side with traffic coming that you've got to line up correctly for. It's really tight. A stationary start, and then straight onto a crossing, which is quite tight in the middle of town. So I wanted to practice that again. And hill starts. I'm getting used to the handbrake on the trucks. They're the air brakes. So you put them on and they're on, and you take them off, and they take a couple of seconds before they actually release. So you've got to make sure you're in the low box, make sure you've selected the right gear to start moving forward in, which on a hill start I was choosing second gear, because third gear, your clutch control, you're a bit like an organ player in the church. You're sat above the pedals, pushing them up and down. So to get a little bit of throttle and the clutch on the bite, when you release the clutch, release the handbrake, and it has a few seconds before it releases. So to time all that right and get a smooth start, but without the whole shebang bouncing up and down, or stalling it, is something that will probably come with practice, but you don't get a great deal of time to practice. Practice costs money. We're looking at £50 an hour to be out in the truck. So yeah, third gear I found awkward on a hill start. Second gear I found was a bit more controllable. So I wanted plenty of practice at hill starts in the morning, and then besides that I wanted a nice, easy, relaxing drive so it didn't destroy my confidence with lots of technical stuff just before the test. So we went out, we completed that, got back to the test centre in good time, had time to go over any other little pointers I wanted to go over, Need to use my mirrors more. The gears, I've driven all sorts of things, but I must admit that the gears in the trucks that I've driven there, or that they are quite agricultural. They're a bit like a tractor or an American, like a Ford Mustang sort of American V8 or an old 911 Porsche, where the gearbox is very heavy duty. There's no quick shifting, no snapping into gears. Everything's got to be pre-planned, and you've got to make your mind up and then get the revs right and get everything. And it's like driving an old 911 with cold oil in the gearbox. So and anyway, the tester turned up. He was nice and pleasant. We went through all the paperwork. He explained everything very clearly to me. He got me to do the reversing manoeuvre again. No problems. We hopped in the wagon. He wiped all his side down, COVID regulations, so he had to clean all his side down, and off we set on our 1 hour examination drive. Everything went quite well. The gearbox gods were generally on my side when it was coming up to junctions. The roundabouts, which, considering they've been quite busy all week and we were out at 9 a.m, we must have just missed the rush hour, the school run and everything. And the roundabouts up in Mould were surprisingly quiet. We went from Flint, we went round the back by the leisure centre, if you know that way at all, like round an industrial estate. Come to a set of traffic lights, you turn right up the hill, so you've got a long climb up the hill. Near the top of the hill, the somebody's got the road dug up, so we had to do 2 hill starts up there to get through the traffic lights. They went okay. As I was rolling to a halt, I was selecting low box and then pre-selecting the gear, putting the handbrake on, then taking it out of gear. So when the lights were when the traffic started moving again, I knew that the gears were all engaged and lined up, so I could just slide it straight into second gear, take the handbrake off, give it a second and go, just as the air's expelled from the brakes and they release. And everything went really quite well, better than I expected up there. Mould was quiet. We went through Mould. We went down the A55 to Dobbs Hill. On the way down the A55, we had a little bit of a chat because there was a bit of time, and need to focus. He did say to me, followed the signs for Chester. He clearly said, followed the signs for Chester. What did I do? I went to Chester. So I took a wrong turn. The signs for Chester tell you to go down the southerly bypass, and I was going for Chester, off down Queen's Ferry, past the Amantolla, off there, Sealand Road into Chester. In my head, that's the way I go to Chester. He had told me to follow the signs. Right, so we're halfway past like a merge across on the dual carriageway, where you have to merge to the left to follow the signs to Chester, and I'm going straight on. At this point, he probably realised what was going on. He repeated the instruction, and I took no notice of him. As we were ending the merge across area, the penny dropped, and I realised that I wasn't supposed to be going the way we normally go to Chester, avoiding my old works, which I hate driving past, hate going anywhere near. So I try not to travel that way. bad memories. So I said to him, I said, I'm not following the signs to Chester, am I? I said, I'm going to Chester the way I normally go. So he said, that's okay. I didn't make any rash, bad decisions, and even though I knew I'd been looking at my mirrors, I knew I was clear to move across to the left. I continued on the route, and he just then redirected me off the next slip road, which was at Ulo, all the way around the roundabout. Managed to stay fairly composed all the way around the roundabout. Bit more practice for me, make life hard. Back up the next slip road, back down the A55 again, and then we then stayed in lane, took a left off towards following the signs for Chester. A couple of miles down the road, we came to Dobbs Hill, and we came off at the Dobbs Hill roundabout. We went right at the Dobbs Hill roundabout, following the signs for Wrexham. We crossed straight across the Dobbs Hill petrol station roundabout to Pennymonith roundabout. At Pennymonith roundabout, we took a right towards Mould, following the signs for Mould. You go under a lowish bridge. It's about 3 foot higher than the truck, so that was okay. Past Tunnel Cement. No, we didn't. No, I took a in my head. We got to the roundabout at Pennymonith. We took a left towards Chester again. Then we got on top of the Warren, and we took a right through Pennaford. Went through Pennaford because there's a nasty little junction in the middle of Pennaford. If you're in a truck, there was a bus coming up the road from the left of us, and we were approaching the main road. There was a bus approaching from the left, so I had to stay back off the junction to allow them to make the turn in. Since I've last been through there, that they've extended the curb out. It used to be a nice little slip onto the main road, but they've put this horrible big bit of pavement out that's covered in black rubber from previous wagons cutting the corner. So I had to hold back off the junction, wait for the bus to come in, take up most of the opposite side of the road, go past the junction and do a tight left to get on. Why the hell they've done that, I don't know. So then we're going to the middle of Pennaford. We take a right up the hill, following the signs towards Mould. I think would be signposted that way, Mould, and you get out of town onto the roundabout, the bypass, the Pennaford bypass. So when we took a right on the Pennaford bypass, took us back to Pennymonith roundabout. Pennymonith roundabout, we then took a left towards Mould. We had a couple of pull over in the safe places just before we'd got to Pennaford. We then came to the Mould Wrexham Road. We took a right into Mould. We went through Mould, over the Tesco's roundabout to the McDonald's roundabout by the fire station. We took a right around there, and that takes you up past Shire Hall. We took a left towards Flint again. At this point, Flint area, it starts getting quite narrow. The hedges are coming on you. There's a lot of heavy traffic coming towards you, so you're having to slow down as appropriate. You go through a little village, Sucknant. That's a 30-mile-an-hour speed limit. There was roadworks going on there. Then you got a straight run down through Northup, through a set of lights in Northup. They were on my side. Out, there's a bit of a tight bend round in Northup. We made the tight bend just before a truck was coming towards us the other way. So that was just slow it down for that. Up to the roundabout. Things went a little bit astray at that roundabout on the A55. We're heading straight across to go down towards Flint. I'm approaching the roundabout. I've selected 5th gear, intending to drive across high box 5th gear at the roundabout. The hedge from the right hand side is obscuring the view of traffic coming up a bit, so I'm ready to change gear, and then an Audi appears from behind the foliage of the roundabout, and he was carrying enough speed that it looked like he was going to go straight on, but he was also not indicating there was a potential. I thought quite a high potential. He could have just thrown it into the corner, cut across in front of me, or if I'd have continued in 5th gear, it would have been interesting. So I then had to change speed, drop into low box, ended up slowing down enough for 3rd gear. Everything got a little bit messy there. Maybe I should have approached that a little bit slower in maybe 4th gear low box on the way up. It's one of them. If I hadn't have been in an exam situation, I'd have just pushed on and gone. But if the Audi driver had have decided to be slightly reckless and been throwing the car around, it would have been horns at dawn, you know, and shouting out the window sort of thing. Anyway, so I stayed safe. We didn't do anything wrong, but things could have been a bit smoother. Occasionally things get thrown into the equation that you can't really allow for. You just have to adapt with them. So we continued it over the next roundabout, down past the Coach and Horses, traffic lights, roadworks again, back down into Flint, left at the traffic lights in Flint, through the same industrial estate, onto the dual carriageway, left onto the dual carriageway, and then we turned right back into the industrial estate to drop the wagon off. At this point, he was sat in the passenger seat, and occasionally when things were like, should we say, not progressing well, going a bit slower, maybe I could have made more progress. We were having a few sort of noises, and I don't let things like that put me off. That's up to him. But yeah, I could have. Anyway, we got back to the yard, and I get there. Right then, would you like your instructor to join you for the debrief, or would you like to just have a personal debrief with me? So it's going to be beneficial for me and the instructor, so best have him along as well. And at this point I thought I'd failed. I knew I'd done nothing dangerous, but I thought there might have been an accumulation of little things. Maybe the odd mirror check I hadn't done, maybe the just gear changing, and at that point I thought I'd failed. So Phil comes over, open the door so he can hear what's going on, and they tell me that I've passed. So yeah, big relief there. He went through a few points again, keeping momentum going, gear changes, couple of mirror checks I could have done better. I didn't, nothing serious. It just needs practice, and I've only had 16 hours, so there we go. I'm happy with that. I got my pass with great help from Chevron, so thumbs up to them. I've now got my CPC practical demonstration. The walk around the wagon I'm going back for that tomorrow. That's Thursday, dinner time. So I've got that to go through tomorrow. Then we can get all my pass certificate, my licence application forms all filled in, and the girls at Chevron are going to help me do that, so I get it all right. And we'll get that in the post for me driving licence to be updated, and then I can, when that arrives back, I can then get booked on the class 1 for the 44 tonners, the articulated. I'm really looking forward to that, mainly because of automatics. So yeah, that's how I've done it. If you want to follow, see how I'm doing, like and subscribe, and you'll see a few more videos. I'll try and talk you through what I've done, how I've done it, what where the issues were. I don't know how you could practice the gearing or the use of the gearbox without actually bumming seat driving time. Again, if I go out and get a job and get paid for it, a day or two, and it'll just be natural. But it's not an opportunity. Don't know many people with trucks that'll let me drive it. That I can practice in. So see you next time. Stay safe.